Hey there everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Kerbal Space Program, and career mode and all that. Who's ready to go to Duna? I know that I am. Uh, Several little things that I need to discuss before we begin this. Our current contract asks us to do a flyby. Going out there and getting into orbit I don't think will count because I've fallen into that trap before. So the thing about doing a flyby is on planets is not the same as doing it of moons, because you go onto a moon for a flyby, you're generally still on a free return trajectory, which means that you'll fly by the moon, fly right back into orbit of whatever planet it is you're orbiting. If you do a flyby of a planet, though, where you're going to end up is in orbit of the sun, Kerbol in this case, and that's not something that I am ready for, because then getting back into orbit of the sun means that, so you can't just fly to Duna and then return back to Kerbin afterwards. So if we're going to fly by it with something, it should probably be unmanned. It's something that's going to just continue flying afterwards. So I built a probe. We also need scientific data from around Duna as well, so I have some scientific equipment on here. It's going to be worth less than if we actually sent a crew out there to check it, but it's still better this way. So as our first little shot to Duna, we are going to send a unmanned probe to go check it out, see if it's safe. Now, interplanetary travel operates, yes, save it please. Interplanetary travel operates somewhat different than just flying to moons, and it is different in the following way. This is where a lot of those deadlines that we have are going to start becoming problems. What we want is to be at a specific angle when we perform our launch. So we're going to speed up a bunch now. I hope we're probably going to be moving faster than Duna, aren't we? Yeah, okay, so this is going to take a while. What we want is basically, if we want there to be a 45-degree angle between Duna and Kerbin, with Duna being ahead. So if Kerbin was at the 3 o'clock position, we would want Duna to be around 1:30, right? So if Kerbin is here, Duna's got to be here. And I don't know this by heart, by the way. This is something that I have right here on my screen next to me right now. I have a cheat sheet that gives me a very detailed description of exactly what angles I have to be at in order to succeed in my launch and my insertion burns. Not entirely sure what the URL is. It's got a shortened URL, but if you basically just type in KSP angles, then the first search in Google will give you the site that you're looking for. And that's basically what I use to get to Duna, to get to any planet really. I've only ever visited 2 planets in Kerbal Space Program. I've been in orbit of Duna, and I have been on the surface of Eve with a probe. So I have landed a probe on Eve before, and that's it. That's the most that I've ever done with interplanetary travel. In this video series, though, I intend to use the fact that this video series is being uploaded onto YouTube, and there is now evidence of my transgressions, that everything is up and viewable. I want to kind of use that as a motivator for me to go as far as I possibly can. I mean, there's a lot. As long as we're here, let me terminate some of these debris that we don't need. Don't need any of this. Alright, how are we doing? Okay, we're getting close. So years are going by at this point, which means that certain contracts are going to start, creeping up on us. Now, okay, so I'm going to keep, in our camera view, I'm going to keep Kerbin at the 3 o'clock position. Like that. And I'm going to stop the time warp at roughly around 1:30-ish. We need it a little bit closer. That seems about right. Does it? A bit more. Okay, that might be too close, but this is going to be the state. It's going to stay like this for quite a while, so there's no need to worry. Now let's put that probe on the launch pad and send it to Duna. I did just name it Duna probe, didn't I? Yeah, okay. So another 120,000 credit vessel. It's got a long-range antenna. And I'm hoping that's going to be good, because one of the problems that we're very likely going to be running into is the fact that the vessel is not going to have communication with Kerbal. In fact, I almost guarantee that it won't. And it looks like we have this bug again. Hang on. Let me revert to launch. It's a weird bug. It's happened to me twice already. All right. Let's do this. Keep our stage view on. All right, let's do this. Throttle up to max. Go. Okay, let's give it a nice kick at the beginning. I really like, by the way, how much how the spacecraft that we're launching continue to look more and more like Apollo program spaceships. Makes me feel happy. Don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm a big fan of the things that were done on the Apollo program and the 1960s space race. There are a lot of reasons that I don't necessarily care for that period in history, but I would give a lot to be able to witness that particular moment when literally an entire planet stopped to watch a guy set foot on the moon. Because that sounds like it must have been something incredible. And I'm like legit curious to find out, like, if the people who were not American, if they really did live this sort of thing as a kind of an achievement of humanity. Anyway, today our trip to Mars begins. Well, it's basically Mars, right? It's Duna, but I mean, we all know what it really is. Duna in this game, I think, is pretty much the ideal beginner planet to explore for several reasons. First of all, its orbital incline is identical to Kerbin, I think. I can't remember there being any significant differences. Like, I've always just been able to move, you know, directly to Duna from an equatorial orbit. I imagine you can do it for most of them. But that's like the first thing. Second, it's got a very low density atmosphere. Atmosphere starts very low, and it's pretty easy to land in. More specifically, it's a lot easier to take off in. So taking off from the surface of Duna is probably a lot easier than it is from various other planets. Makes it a very ideal planet to be, you know, your first to explore in the cosmos. We're still listening, by the way, to the new set of music. It's in order to get, you know, a little bit more epic and ambient. I'm actually going to cut the engine. I'm going to wait until we get up to the apoapsis. Or close to it, at least. Like right here, and I'm going to start burning now. Make sure that what fuel we have in this stage is used efficiently, as efficiently as possible. This is stretching out pretty fast, so I'm feeling good about this choice. Can even afford to burn a little faster, I think. Already almost at escape velocity. I assume we're going to get orbit soon. Yep. And done. Wonderful. Okay, now, next part's going to be tricky just because we still have some of the fuel left in this engine. I think we might as... I'm just going to burn it away. I mean, this is kind of wasteful, considering that this is a very powerful engine and we could be using it for much better things. But, The problem is that if I start calculating a course, and then that course is calculated, if the burn is calculated based on this engine's power with the fuel it has left, then I'm going to start way too late because it's going to have to switch to the Poodle, and the Poodle isn't nearly as powerful. So I'm just going to burn all this. There we go. Separate from it. Don't need that engine active yet. I will deploy the fairing though. There's our probe. And I'm going to have to check and see. This is another thing because not only does it matter where the planet is in relation to the sun, but it also matters where you are in relation to the planet when you make your burn. Now, I believe, as a general rule, if the planet is on a smaller orbit from Kerbin, then you want to be burning from the inner side, right? Sunny side is the inner side. If you want to be going to a planet that is farther away from the sun than Kerbin, then you want to burn on the outer side. But the guide that I'm looking at right now is telling me that I should be burning roughly at this position, about 150 degrees, if this is 0, right? The Kerbin is heading in this direction. So if this is 0, then 150 right about here. So let's see how this works. Okay, nope, just gotta zoom out a bit. Okay, so this is our heading. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's a lot of noise in here. So by burning like this, you can see that I gotta set this as a target. Set it as a target. There we go. So that's our intersect, and that's where the planet is at the time. So okay, what am I? No, this way maybe. Basically, what this means is that I botched the launch. In other words, I missed the mark. Planet's way too close to us now. It should be a bit farther ahead. This isn't lost, though, because I might still be able to bring us closer with a course correction mid-flight, like around here. Let's see if this will help. Doesn't look like it will. Yeah. There we go. Okay, we've got a flyby course. So this means we are gonna have to perform a course correction at some point. But at least this makes up for my stupidity again. So let's orient the craft in the right direction. There we go. No, 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 no. Don't fight me. That's the way you want to be pointing. Okay. Not a lot of electric charge on this craft. That's probably my fault. I maybe should have put a little bit more on it, but it does have the ability to generate power. That shouldn't be a problem. The only reason I'm worried about the course correction is because if it turns out by the time we get to that point where we have to perform the course correction, then if it turns out that we're out of range of any comms, that's it, and we can't launch. We can't perform the course correction, and we will not fly by Duna, in which case this mission is going to be a huge failure, and you're probably not even going to see it, because I'm just going to not put it up on YouTube. Anyway, let's get going. I don't have to worry about fuel, because we definitely have enough fuel to get there, and we don't have to worry about getting back. Once this thing flies past Duna, we're just going to keep on going. We only need to have enough fuel in it to perform that course correction later on. I did put the largest antenna and the farthest reaching antenna that we have, and it was, the description specifically says that it was designed for deep space probes, and this is definitely a deep space probe right now. So yeah. Just gotta wait and hope. This is also going to be possibly one of the longest missions that we've performed so far. Not necessarily in video length, The video length, I imagine, for this is actually going to be very average, but the in-game time that goes by is going to be very long. It's going to be like half a year. I'll consider its mission complete when it gets there and has broadcasted its data, its science data back. Speaking of which, by the way, in the last episode, we earned some science points from bringing back that soil sample and experiments and such. Okay, what's going on? Something is going on. Camera switched. Okay, our heading is correct. But it looks like this new course... I wonder why the camera flipped. Let me get back in here a second. We're not... Suddenly it's on the suborbital trajectory camera. We're not on a suborbital trajectory, are we? No. No, we're on our way out. Weird. Alright, let's replot that course correction. About halfway. My hope is that Kerbin is still going to be close to us. Gotta slow down instead? No. Kerbin should still be close to us. Yeah. It's getting farther and farther away, but as long as we have a periapsis, that's all that matters. Well, off we go, people. To deep space. We're going to be traveling parallel. See what I mean about the music, by the way? We should be meeting up with the... should be meeting up with Duna a lot earlier. It's just, again, I botched the course. Okay, we're coming up on our... Okay, gotta slow down because it might not... It might seem like there's a wide range for error, but crap. Okay, well, let's see if this this still works. If I move this maneuver node... Well, let's just... I'm just going to try anyway. Okay. Our angle should still be, you know, roughly good enough for this course correction to still work, even though I did. Let's go ahead and burn full, close to full. One thing that I can promise, by the way, is that as we get, you know, deeper into the exploration of further planets, our little Kerbal system in there is going to become very, very small. I remember when, you know, I don't just have to remember as far back as, hang on, do we already have a Duna? We do. Oh, wow. Okay, looks like we already have the Duna periapsis. No, we don't. I was misled. Hang on. Okay, let's, thought I saw periapsis there already. Okay, come on. All right. Let's try not to pass it this time. ...56-second burn. course corrections are usually very easy to perform. Give us a little bit of extra time just in case we need it, and let's go for full burn. What a beautiful view. It was the apoapsis blending in there with the other indicators that got me confused for a second. That's it. We got it. We're headed to Duna. Though admittedly only just for a quick glance. And it's very likely that we're not even going to be able to do anything once we get there. You can see the little green line in between us and Kerbin right now. That's our communication. And the moment that I assume there is a distance at which the probe is just going to stop reacting. My hope is that we're still going to be able to be in comms range just long enough for me to transmit the scientific data that we gather. It's holding up well, though. Signal strength is still high. Okay, here we come. Crap. All right. We on the encounter or not? Okay, here we go. We have, we've done it. We are flying by Duna. I even have a contract to put a satellite in orbit yet, but I'm not going to do that because I want to complete this contract first. So let's do our quick work and then say goodbye. I think we can extend these now. So let's choose which scientific data we want to send back. This is going to be worth a lot more once we actually get astronauts out here, or once we plan to bring vessels back. But the question is, which of these experiments is worth the most transmitted? Can't do seismic data, well, we're not on the surface. Okay, so basically we either use the thermometer, which gives us a 63% yield, or this one gives us also 63. So I guess then we'll just transmit both of them. Go ahead and transmit that, if we even have enough energy to do it. We do, okay. And transmit that one too, sure, why not? Okay, taking our first steps towards exploring Duna. There we go. We got the data. Initiated first flyby. Escape the gravitational influence of the sun. Gather the first scientific data from Duna. These are our first accomplishments. And at this point, we don't really have anything left to do here. So we might as well just wave goodbye to Duna for now and return back to Kerbin. This probe is going to continue on its path around the sun for ever, basically. I don't think we're ever going to strive to bring this back home, even though it does have plenty of fuel. So someday, who knows? Anyway, it's been a pleasure, little probe. How about we give you a new name to remember this? I have no idea how to spell it. That's how it's going to be spelled. It also has a relay antenna, by the way, so, you know, just on the off chance that we need it, it's going to be out here relaying information, relaying data and comms channels back to other sources that need it. So that, basically, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our first Duna flyby. The planet is literally so far away that I don't think it is even visible to us. It should be right above us, right? Right up that way. If we're headed that way, it should be up there. There it is. So tiny it almost blends into the stars. It's right there. That was it. That was it for this mission. It was a very simple mission, but it brought us a lot. This has got to be a record amount of cash that we've had so far. So let's simply return back to the tracking station. Now we can terminate those. This is the bits that are left in orbit. And now we kind of have a permanent probe. Although actually, now that the contract is complete, I think that orbiting is the next step, right? You're going to ask me to... Okay, so we're going to have to return from orbit, which we're not going to do with this probe. But this might as well serve as our, after that huge emotional thing that I gave about saying goodbye, this probe might as well just serve as our, it might as well serve as our first Duna relay. So, let's do it. I did accept the contract, didn't I? I did not accept the contract. Excuse me. I'm going to have to go accept that contract before I do anything else. Okay, so we're gonna complete step 1 of this contract, which is get into orbit. It's gonna be worth something. Returning from Duna. That's gonna be a tricky one. And it's gonna require multiple extra steps from us. Not even sure that we have enough fuel left on this probe to get into orbit, but we'll try. Does this probe technically meet the one that it wants an equatorial? It needs a resource survey scanner. This is stupid. It says it wants a resource survey scanner, but resource survey scanners only work on polar orbits. So it's very weird that it should ask me to do that. Anyway. This serves pretty much just to complete the contract. There we go. It's actually coming in pretty quickly. Excellent. That's the orbit complete. And here's what I'm thinking. We might actually be able to use this probe to complete our return home mission as well. First things first, though, we're going to have to... We're going to have to fix our orbital path. We're going to want to burn in the anti-normal direction. See how much... We might not have enough fuel to do this, but... Nope, never mind. This is actually very easily flipping around. Okay. Well, now we just got to get back home. I'm gonna pop over to my chart here, and I'm gonna flip this. So instead of heading from Kerbin to Duna, we're gonna head from Duna to Kerbin. Let's see what this requires. Okay. We'll pop back into the tracking station. Now, the chart that I'm looking at is telling me that the ship, the Duna has to be, if Duna's at the 3 o'clock position, Kerbin is very close but not exactly at 6. And then we're burning on the inside of the orbital path. You know what? I'll just do it rather than talk about it. Time is flying by pretty quickly now. That probe has been out there for a long time now. And just, you know, to be safe, I'm actually gonna peer into our contracts and make sure that we're not missing out on anything important. Yeah, we're fine. This Expand Dinkelstein station is the one with the lowest expiry date, and it's 4 years, so we're fine. I'm probably gonna have to do that then. In the next, I don't think I'm even gonna bother putting that one out into an episode, because yeah, what it wants me to do is it basically wants me to put another crew cabin on there. Like, that's the literal only. It wants me to extend the Kerbols that can be in there by how much? Facility supporting at least 17 Kerbols. Right, it needs 5 crew spaces, so that's like another. That's a crew cabin and a viewing cupola. Basically, that's all it wants me to attach. It's nothing major at all. Okay. So again, with Duna being at the 3 o'clock position, Kerbin's got to be around here. Tracking station could use, I believe, another level of speeding ahead. We're almost there, though. That's it. That's where we want it to be. Now. We're going to want to burn on the inside. We're very far away from the planet right now, so I can't exactly tell. Okay, the sun is over there, so this is going to be hard because I can't really see well. Okay, we're going to want to burn around here. Yeah, roughly. Okay. Should set this as our target, shouldn't I? Okay. Did I mess up again? It's funny because I'm literally burning at the exact time it's asking me to. It's possible that my position of this is not right. Yeah, maybe it's got to be a little bit more down over here. See if that makes a difference. Doesn't appear to. Feels like I have to wait for Kerbin to be somewhere more around here. It may have to do with the height of my orbit, actually. Hang on. But, let me see if that changes anything. Now it's saying that I have to almost be at a... I have to almost be at a 90-degree angle. Like around here. Yep. It's definitely looking better. Okay. What happened to my intersect? All right, that's. I'm just gonna say that does it, and we're gonna try and just, you know, plot another course along the path. There, that should do it. Okay, so this is a 67-day orbit around Duna. This burn, I don't imagine is going to take that long at all, so let me just quickly hit... ZX to get a calculation. Already bounced us out of orbit. That's fine. Okay, 57 seconds. Two hours, 1 hour. Crap. It's fine. This is fine. It's just burning full. Down to our last stage. And our course correction maneuver is still good. Sweet. Let's get out of here. Maybe. Maybe I won't actually pass this point this time. Alright. 32, 620. It's a 17-second burn, so we should be fine. Four, three, two, one. There, okay. Didn't pass it this time, so that's good. There's one other thing that we're going to have to consider, and that is that this probe has no means of re-entry. So, in another episode, just because this recording has been going on long enough, a lot longer than I expected it to, I'm going to send a spaceship to recover it. This is going to be the first probe that we recover, the first object that we recover from space. Because that's going to complete our contract. How'd we do? Keep hitting the map button. We want to zoom out. Looks like we did it. Yep. Let's see how much this the fuel on this probe is good for. Part of me kind of wishes that the first time we did this was with a human crew, but this probe has been out in space for 2 years, so yeah. I'm actually a little worried that we are going to fail that Kerbal Station reconstruction thing. Yeah, it's fine though. It's a trivial quest anyway. Oh, wow. We actually got very close. That's really neat. We got, like, closer than Minmus. Alright, set her to retrograde. All those science experiments, by the way, we could have just recovered them. Could have gotten more science out of it. But it's fine. Okay. I'm gonna burn through all the fuel that this thing has left. There. Set it up into high orbit. We're almost home. I'm going to save the last of it to equatorialize as much as we can, at any rate. We're gonna run out of fuel before we can, but hey, we brought a probe back. We bought a probe back from Duna. That was pretty neat. And if I had to just put a couple extra fuel pods on this and maybe a heat shield and some parachutes, then, you know, this thing could easily have actually just re-entered by itself. Yeah, this is not... That's not going to get us anywhere. And that's it. Well, next up is going to be bringing this probe back from Kerbal orbit. Shouldn't be too hard a task. I will start constructing a ship right away. I might even just go ahead and record that right now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. This has been the Daily Kerbal.